Welcome to the other side of the kitchen. Richard mentioned that episode 1, if you saw episode 1, we were here. Episode 2, we were over there. Now episode 3, we're back over here. I keep setting up our YouTube channel in different spots to try and find the best seating and the best lighting.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
It works. Hey, this is great.
Yeah. So if you like what you see, like and subscribe to this channel because we are a separate news source from the fake news.
Exactly.
And we're just kind of local. And Janine, Richard's wife, is going to be part of the show. You're just stuck with us now, girlfriend.
That's right.
Do you love being on TV?
Oh, I love being on TV. Oh, well.
So you're on the show now.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? Let's just start where we are, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to do our weekly wrap-up of this week's news in Utah and other news elsewhere, right?
Exactly.
So the big news of the week is, Senate Bill 2004 just was signed into law on November the 16th.
Yes.
By Creepy Cox, otherwise known as Governor Cox. He signed it into law. What does this mean for us?
What does it mean for us? Oh.
Come on, Janine, you know.
Well, it's a celebration, that's for sure. We have some privacy. We have some privacy with businesses that we didn't have before. So
like what?
Like what? Okay. Well, like that you cannot collect testing. I mean, you cannot. We have privacy. We have privacy. They don't need to write your names if you've chosen to have a shot, not had a shot. It's, it's the way life should be.
Right. But do they have the right to keep records?
That's the privacy. No,
okay.
No records.
So they can't keep vaccination records of employees or prospective employees.
Exactly.
And prospective employees, if they choose not to get a vaccine or the Fauci ouchie, whatever you call it, there can be no adverse reaction from the employer.
Yes. Adverse event
or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So they can't say this is the reason why you're not being hired, or if you're already an employee and you choose to have a medical, a religious, or a personal belief exemption, they cannot fire you for that.
Right.
They can reassign.
They can reassign.
But they cannot fire you or demote you or do anything advent reaction.
Yes, and unless, of course, there is no other place for you, then that's the one thing. However, people need to know that any one of those reasons, medical, religious, or personal,
is acceptable now.
It
is the law.
It's the law. It's valid.
The law.
It's valid.
November 16th, it became a law.
And the thing about that that's really important is that you have to stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
It's the law. If you don't want to say if you're going to, you're not going to, you need to know that it's okay.
Yes. And you're allowed.
And you're allowed.
Because the law protects you finally.
Finally. But if you don't stand up,
then they can do whatever they want.
Yes, nobody else will. There's a little phrase that I learned years ago that I loved. If I'm not for me, who will be?
Yes, I think you wrote that.
Oh, did I?
Or you said it at the meeting today that the Utah team leads.
Okay, if I'm not for me, who will be?
Yeah.
If I'm only for me, what's the point?
Yeah.
So we have to stand up for ourselves. We have to stand up for each other. Yes.
Okay, so this law hasn't really been publicized, has it?
No.
Gee, I wonder why.
Well, and
why, Janine? Why wouldn't it be publicized everywhere?
Yeah, well, the thing of it is, if you don't know about it,
they're not going to tell you.
And you can't take advantage of it.
Right, but why wouldn't they tell us?
Maybe they don't want to.
Really? That's not nice. It's a law. It's a new law.
It's a law. It's a law. So, in fact, what we talked about a little bit earlier is about I see you. I see you and I'm aware.
Right. That's what you were talking about.
Yes.
We see you, fake news. We see you. Yes, you're not giving us the news. You only give us the news that you want to give us, right?
Exactly.
This is why we have the other side. Like and subscribe. Again, I'm going to shameless plug here. All right, so we actually have a little cheat sheet, but I will attempt to edit this video to have this photo in the video, okay?
Nice.
So our cheat sheet says, requires employers to relieve current and prospective employees of a vaccine mandate if you submit a statement claiming religious, medical, or personal exemption. You only need your own written statement. You don't need a doctor's note. You don't need a pastor's note. You don't need a psychologist's note. It's your own statement. That's all you need. Just a written statement. Done. And then employers are required to pay for any COVID testing. Employers cannot fire an employee for submitting an exemption. Employers cannot keep any proof of vaccine records. Now, the COVID-19 workplace testing cheat sheet or fact sheet, whatever you want to say, let your employer know that there are no FDA-approved COVID-19 tests. Actually, they're being recalled by the FDA, aren't they?
Oh yes, yeah.
Oh, gee, I wonder why.
So we have a phony test to diagnose something that has never been here before.
All right, so you can tell them, your prospective employers or your employers, that all COVID-19 testing is emergency use authorization only. Let them know that you'll be waiting for an FDA-approved test before you can get tested.
Before you can get tested.
All right, let your employer know about 26-45-101 titled genetic testing. I'll post the links to this below on the description.
Awesome.
All right. So this is the Genetic Testing Privacy Act for the state of Utah. COVID-19 test, PCR test, is a genetic test. Did you know that? I did not know that.
Oh yes,
I don't know this stuff.
It's a DNA test. Does not test for viruses. Never has done.
So genetic testing for employment purposes is illegal in Utah, but nobody tells you that, okay? The courts, we'll talk about this later, the OSHA order has been kibosh, all right? And remind your employer, we just said this, that the PCR test on December the 31st of 2021 is going to go bye-bye because they're shit.
They're being recalled.
They're being recalled, but meanwhile, they're still using it to find testing in cases and to try and diagnose. So give me a break, people. All right, so here's the fact sheet. Fact, not a myth.
Exactly.
Not fake news, but a fact.
That's right.
All right. So, Janine, that's it on 2004. Do you have any other comments?
I guess the only comment that I have is being new to being a little more politically active.
You and me both.
Yeah. So we have, I printed it up and I guess maybe I don't have it right here.
What is it?
It's about the bill. I mean, the bill language is not the way you and I are talking here. But the bill language is sort of like, it's like learning to walk for babies. Mm-hmm. Learning to talk for babies. They don't understand anything to start with, but we keep talking and pretty soon the language comes. So we just need to get in, look at the bill, read the bill, even though we don't maybe understand it. Maybe all of you do. It's new to me.
It's new to me too. Trust me, I never looked at a bill in my entire life until all this nastiness happened.
Right, and that's what is coming to me is that, do we trust? Okay, we can trust people, but I love who was it that said, I trust but verify?
Yes, trust but verify always.
Always.
So you should do your own research. Don't just listen to us.
No.
Go. I can actually provide the link below in the description of the actual bill, and it's also on our website.
Yes.
www.summitcountyfreedom.com. The link, there's a call to action, and there is a link below that you can click on there, but I'll post the link anyway, just in case you don't get to the website. And what else? Anything else on that?
Just this is
the bill.
Yeah, this is the bill. So post the link and we can.
Legislative General Counsel, there it is, SB 2004 in real-time paper.
Yeah, it's not that long.
It's not hard to read, actually, when you really look at it. It's all underlined stuff. It's very interesting. And during the legislative session, when it was being debated on the House floor, we were texting our representatives saying we want the wording changed from shall to must, or however different
Yeah, from must to
from must to shall, because it changes the direction of the bill,
yeah,
correct?
I guess it was may. It was may, because may means perhaps. It's possible. Shall means
It will.
Shall be. It
Okay.
shall be. It shall be done.
So we got that changed, and we were texting. Like, I was working, it was nap time, luckily, but I was working, I was texting. I looked up who my representative in Summit County in our district was, and I was texting this dude.
Same here.
And he responded. He texted me back. Who knew?
I know.
Right?
Yeah, they really do. They want that interaction, and as long, the other thing, I don't know if we said this, maybe we said this, but when we had 700 people, nearly 700 people, I think they said it was over, every 5 persons represents 100 people.
I didn't. Yeah, so that's their statistics, or their census or something, right?
They said every 10 it's 200. It was easier for me to figure out 100, so I just.
That's so cool.
100.
So 700 times. I'm not doing the math.
14,000.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot
of representation.
Yes, it is.
All right, so moving on from SB 2004, victory. All right, yes, we worked so hard. It was like a full-time job. We worked so hard.
Yeah.
All of us. It was
Really
crazy.
did. And it wouldn't have happened without
Everyone.
All of you.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, next topic that I've been following very closely, and you really haven't. So
No, I haven't.
we're just going to have a conversation about this. We are going to talk about Kyle Rittenhouse. He was found not guilty. Now, if you don't know anything about this, Kyle was charged with homicide for defending himself during the Kenosha, Wisconsin riots. And boy, did the media crucify him.
I know, 17-year-old kid.
Right. They called him a white supremacist. They called him a murderer. They even had politicians calling him a white supremacist and a murderer. And they basically crucified him and did not give him even a chance.
Yeah.
A chance, all right? So I've got some...
You got some details?
I've got some notes.
Okay.
All right?
Good.
Number one, when he was charged, he had a GoFundMe for bail. GoFundMe censored him. They banned him. Facebook and YouTube censored any videos that were claiming that he let the justice system work and let him be presumed innocent until proven guilty. Isn't that in a court of law?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Isn't it? And the riots, I forgot, those riots were mostly peaceful protests, weren't they?
Yeah.
That's what the fake news wants you to believe. All right, so GoFundMe was banned, Facebook censored, the media called, get this one. They called the people that he had to kill in self-defense because they were going to kill him.
Right.
They called them heroes. The media called them heroes. And one of them was a pedophile, a bona fide convicted pedophile. And they're degenerate felons out there with guns kicking his ass, and they were going to kill him.
Yeah, and what was he supposed to wait until they shot him before?
Well, maybe he should have waited until they killed him, and then maybe he could have defended himself.
Exactly. How do you do that? How do you do
as
that?
a ghost?
Yes.
Maybe as a ghost. As a ghost, maybe, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've never seen it happen.
All right. So right now I'm predicting Kyle Rittenhouse is going to be the next billionaire very, very soon.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think?
Oh, yeah. I mean, is this shades of, let's see, who was it that was faced and
Sandman, Nick Sandman.
Yes, Nick Sandman.
Nick Sandman's like, I won $250 million from the media for defamation. And here's Kyle saying, hold my lip gloss. Because he's going to be a billionaire.
Yeah, yeah.
What the prosecution did is beyond. I actually followed the case because I have places that I look for the real news. right?
And maybe sometime we ought to talk about how do you find the real news.
One of these days we'll talk about that because I'm not ready to disclose that yet.
Okay.
All right. So who should Kyle sue first? What do you think? Who would you sue first if you're Kyle?
Boy. Nathalie, I mean, the media.
Oh, yes, that's who I would sue. I would be coming for them so hard. Oh my gosh. I hope he's got it already ready.
Oh, yeah.
And ready to go. And MSNBC is one of Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, Democrat of New York, past tweet said lock him up and throw away the key on Twitter. He said that, a congressman. What the hell is that all about?
You know, we used to say, let's look up to our leaders, our political people. Let's teach our children not to bully, you know.
Oh, the left, they are bullies. And if you don't agree with anything they say, they will try and cancel you.
All right.
And I'm talking ruin your life.
Yeah.
That's what they will try to do.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is, you know what? They are so loving and accepting. You can be exactly who you are, whoever you want to be, as long as it agrees with
your narrative.
Yes, exactly.
Your mentally deranged narrative. Like you're a freaking lunatic. Like I'm not even kidding you. So Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, Democrat of New York. This isn't even about Democrats and Republicans anymore at this point because they all suck in my opinion. I think they're all assholes. So, so this isn't about Democrats versus Republicans.
No.
This dude just happens to be a Democrat in New York. And he said, lock him up and throw away the key. Twitter. I looked this up. All right. Now, the judge in this case was a badass.
Oh, yes.
He actually followed the law and
law.
Wasn't a corrupt piece of shit.
Right.
It's about time.
Right. Well, and you know what? And I'm grateful to the jurors that had the courage to stand up and really look at the facts.
Did you see what happened though with the jurors?
No.
Okay. That was a perfect segue, by the way.
Good.
Okay. You're right about the jurors, like actually having the courage to say not guilty in all counts. And the judge dismissed, threw out the charge of unlawfully carrying a firearm.
Yeah.
Sorry. But so about the jurors, MSNBC was caught, allegedly caught.
All right. Let's be sure we're saying
following
the right words.
the jury bus.
Wow.
Following them. So the next day, the judge got wind of it and threw their asses out of court. So they weren't allowed. Did you hear this?
I had no idea.
Okay.
Awesome.
So they kicked out MSNBC, and the jurors, I'm looking at my notes, sorry guys. So the jurors, they came back with questions, and the reason why they were hung up for a couple of days is because 2 jurors were afraid for their lives. Let's see. 2 jurors are holding out. They were scared for their families and getting doxxed by the media and the social justice deranged lunatic mob.
Yeah.
We don't know who these people are. I just call them the lunatic mob.
Yeah.
So they were afraid. So they were afraid to say that not guilty, even though I'm sure they knew.
Oh, exactly.
Right?
And how, in this world, in America, really, we're afraid?
You're afraid.
Yes.
No, we're in communist United States right now, as far as, Facebook and Twitter and the news, the fake ass news. Oh, they're fake.
Yeah.
They all say the exact same thing. That's propaganda.
Oh, that is.
Journalists should be allowed to do investigative journalism regardless of the narrative, but they're not allowed. They are paid puppets.
Yes, they are. There are only, I said 5 or 6 media companies in the entire world. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
Really?
In the entire world.
So they all control, they are all controlled.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yeah.
it's insane to me. So, all right. So the jury came up and did the right thing.
Yeah.
And they did the right thing, in our opinion.
Yeah, it's only our opinion. That's true.
Everything is our opinion only. Disclaimer, okay? We're not lawyers. We're not anything. We're just 2 chicks talking on YouTube, right?
Right.
All right. So the prosecution, boy, was that a hot mess. That was a big old shit show with the prosecution.
Yeah.
All right. they didn't release evidence.
That's right.
Okay, so
That's
you
right.
know more than...
No, a little bit.
Okay, the drone footage.
Oh.
Okay, so they basically like charged him with murder, and this drone footage, they showed a shit version of it basically, and not the HD version, and the defense got wind of it, and they got the footage, the HD footage, the high definition drone footage of what was going on top of Kenosha.
Okay.
And it shows that Kyle Rittenhouse never pointed his gun to shoot, like to execute. It was self-defense. It was so clear, and the prosecution tried to keep that video out of court, like for the jury to not see it, and the judge was like, F you, we're showing it.
Right. Yeah, good. Yeah.
Well, duh, that's what it's supposed to happen.
Well, exactly. You know, and it isn't that you have a narrative and you're just going to forget about the facts. I mean, forget about the facts. I don't think so.
Yeah. And also, they also showed a less pixelated image of Kyle. This prosecutor should be disbarred and prosecuted himself. And then, to top it off, hopefully I have the skills, Janine. Hopefully I have the skills to put in this image in this part of the clip of the prosecutor in his closing arguments pointing the assault rifle at the jury.
Wow.
That shit is jury tampering. That right there symbolizes a threat.
Exactly.
And he said that this is what Kyle did to execute those felons, when in fact they were going to kill him. There's video, there's footage, but did the fake news show that? Did they?
No, I mean, you take it from a distance, you can't see anything. And
they had high definition drone footage.
Right.
And what were those drones doing? Is it news drones? Who are they?
Yeah. Do you have an idea?
No, I think it's the news, honestly. You know, or it could have been I don't know. Like, that's something that we need to look up, because I don't even know. I can't even speculate as to what the drone footage, like who was shooting the footage. I don't really know. But high definition footage that was not shown and not given to the defense. They're supposed to give it to the defense.
Right, and that's very interesting to have that available. And then, like a puzzle, you have all the puzzle pieces, but you lift the ones, and it makes a completely different picture.
Yeah, well, the fake news shows you what they want to show you.
Oh, yeah.
It is disgusting. Like, it is disgusting to me. I haven't watched the fake news. Like, I can't even stomach it.
Yeah, since how long? How long?
Oh, gosh, since 2016.
Oh, really?
I haven't watched the fake news. Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah, a long time.
Years.
And I'm a very happy person. And I'm not a deranged lunatic either.
No.
Well, I am, but not in that sense.
Not in that sense.
Not in that weird way.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we're done with Kyle.
I think we are.
So now, are we going to go to Richard's
rants?
Sure.
Richard's rants.
First?
Yeah, you got to go first, because I've got my rant.
There you go.
Janine, thank you.
Thank you. All
now
right.
we edit this part.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait,
You did so good.
Oh, thank you.
Wasn't it a nice conversation? I thought you rapped well.
Oh, good. Well,
Yeah.
I'll keep practicing.
No, you don't practice. Don't watch out for the sheep.
It's like, I'm here.
Oh, hi, I JJ. Want to be my friend? I little JJ.
Okay. It's okay. You can stay here. So you can stay here.
That's my
You
spot.
stay here. I'll step over you.
Oh, shush.
That's so
God, shut up.
Hey, they did great.
Luckily, this will be edited out.
Yeah.
Okay, here's Richard. Richard's rants is coming up. What are you going to rant about today?
Nathalie, it's all over the board.
I'm scared.
going to stick to my notes. I'm going to stick to my notes because Nathalie told me I only have 4 minutes. I'm going to try to do it in 3. There is no shortage of stupid in the United States of America today.
Why?
Anthony Fauci. COVID-19 hospitalizations are rising among the vaccinated.
Did he say that?
Yes, he did. We have been talking about this for 12 months. He says, what we're starting to see is an uptick in hospitalizations among people who've been vaccinated, but not boosted. So you got one shot, nothing happens. You get a second shot. Nothing happens. Then they tell you need to start masking, social distancing, because you're carrying a higher viral load and you're a super spreader. And now...
A vaccinated person?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. According to the CDC's mandate,
Ew.
if you are fully vaccinated, which used to be 2 shots, you now need to mask and you need to social distance, and because you are now considered a super spreader because you are carrying 251 times the viral load of an unvaccinated person. And now the way to fix that is to get a 3rd shot.
But wait.
The first one doesn't work, the second one doesn't work, but now we're going to give you a booster so that'll make the first and the second one start to work.
But wait, so what about me, who doesn't happen to be vaccinated? Am I a super spreader anymore?
No, an unvaccinated person has never been a super spreader.
According to the fake news, and
that is
everybody,
total crapola.
all the friends that I lost.
According to the CDC and to Oxford University and millions of other studies, or maybe 5, a person who is fully vaccinated is now considered a super spreader and is carrying a viral load 251 times higher than the unvaccinated. You want to be around safe people? Hang out with unvaccinated people. They're the safest people you can be around. Then I love, and I heard you guys talking a little bit about lying. Fauci's saying 62 million people have yet to be vaccinated. Well, only 58% of the people in the United States have been vaccinated, which means, in my incredibly fantastic mathematical mind, 42% are not. So if you take 42% of 330 million, that means approximately 138 million people have yet to be vaccinated. So if you're one of those who doesn't think that it's anybody's business to tell you what you can or can't do for your own body, then you are not in the minority. There are 138 million of you who feel the same way.
The fake news would lead you to believe
that it's 62 million and that 250 million are vaccinated. Total BS.
Well, to me, what the fake news and in social fake media, commie Facebook, they would lead you to believe that there's only like 100,000 of us that are unvaccinated, out of 350 million Americans.
It's total garbage. It's total garbage.
Man, I thought I was cooler.
And
apparently
then...
not. Apparently I'm one of the...
Now you're infringing on my time now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Go.
I'm kidding. Then he says, as you only heard a million times, vaccines protect you, your family, and your community. How can he say that based on the VAERS numbers? How can he say that based on the VAERS numbers that come right off the CDC site?
But they don't matter.
Of course they don't matter.
Yeah, they don't matter.
Because it doesn't fit the narrative.
Yes.
Now my quick political commentary.
Ooh, yay.
Rittenhouse. I love what you said about him. Biden called him a white supremacist.
Yes, he did.
You want somebody to sue? I would love to see somebody sue the President of the United States. So here's my question. I don't profess to be the sharpest tool in the shed. If a white guy shoots 3 white guys, how does that make you a white supremacist?
Because he shot white people?
A white guy shoots white guys. What am I missing here? I mean, how does that make you a white supremacist?
Did they Photoshop them?
I have no idea. And then
I wouldn't put it past them.
The Lieutenant Governor of Virginia, who just won, black woman, former Marine, they say she won because she's a white supremacist.
What?
That's what they said. She won because she is a white supremacist.
Who's they?
The media.
The lefty
and
media?
The media and
social justice warriors
and the left wing of the Democratic Party.
The freakazoids.
Yes.
Yes.
So now to get to Park City, Summit County.
Oh, yay.
First, I love it. You probably saw this. The head of the school board in, I can't remember which town it was, in Arizona, just resigned.
Yes, I saw this.
Resigned because he was leaking information out on the parents that were suing over mask mandates. He was leaking out their names, addresses, and phone numbers, and trying to intimidate these people from expressing their constitutional right to share their thoughts and feelings. So then I'm looking at Fort Worth, Texas. They just had a gal who's been leaking out information. She's not even on the board. She's a friend of a board member. And in order to save time, I'll just jump ahead and say this woman's name is Garcia Lopez. She sharing people's names, their information, their phone numbers, and on and on and on. She quotes on a tweet, "It's astounding that the white privilege power from Tanglewood, the town in Fort Worth, has versus a whole diverse community that cares for the well-being of others." So in other words, it has to do with white privilege that you don't think it's appropriate for your kids to have to wear masks. Somehow that's a white privilege, white supremacy issue. And then she turns around and she lists all the names of the people on the board, or all the parents who were in the lawsuit, their names, addresses, and phone numbers. And then my favorite, she posts on social media, this is her quote: "Y'all had no problem wearing masks when you were burning crosses on our lawns, bombing our churches, and lynching black people." In other words, she is now comparing a mask that kids are being asked to wear. She's comparing these parents to the Ku Klux Klan. You had no problem wearing a mask when you were burning crosses on our lawns, bombing our churches, and lynching black people.
So little kids?
Yeah, anybody who's wearing a mask, she is now comparing to the Ku Klux Klan. You had no problem wearing masks when you were working with the Klan. Oh, where are we? What is happening? What is happening to this country?
I call it clown world.
Oh, it's beyond
clown world. This is clown world.
And Nathalie, you brought up a great. You guys in our meeting Wednesday night, you talked about the Park City Board of Health and how, and I'm sure you'll correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe you said that according to the Board of Health, if there's positive test result that reach 2%, the kids in the schools have to start wearing masks again. And as we discussed Wednesday night, why 2%? What does this guy...
The Rona knows. The Rona knows.
What does this guy know? Why 2%? Why not 1%? Why not 3%? Why not 10%? Where are these numbers being pulled from? And I
know.
I know. It's
Where President Biden was today.
Yes.
Getting...
That's right.
A tube shoved up his ass today.
It's so funny you should say that. As I wrote down here, it's being pulled out of some deep, dark body part. and on a side note, we are so grateful. And by the way, for 2 hours, Kamala Harris was our president.
What?
And a lot of people haven't heard this yet. She solved the border crisis in the 2 hours where she had full authority in the country. But so here's my question. Based on the CDC, again, we just talked about it. The guidelines is when you go home. So if you're fully vaccinated, parents, and your kids come home from school and they walk in the door, they ought to start. That's when they ought to put their mask on, according to the CDC. And they ought to.
Parents are the super spreaders.
And they should social distance from their parents because, according to the CDC, they are super spreaders. So the demographic that has basically zero chance of, if they get sick, they have almost a zero chance of passing away, of dying from this thing. The recovery rate is like 99.9999999%. And so this is my last factor figure, and I'll end this right now. There are 60 million kids under the age of 18. And again, according to the CDC, if your parents are fully vaccinated, Park City, Summit County, you make your kids, when they come in the door, you make them put on that little blue mask because you are a super spreader and you could be damaging the health of your children. I mean, it's unbelievable. The hypocrisy in all this is unbelievable.
Richard.
You can't believe half the story and not take in the other half of the story. Let me just finish with a great number. Based on the percentage of recovery, there are 60 million kids under 18. If every one of them got sick, all 60 million got sick, 500 are going to die. Last year, 6,000 kids died and drowned. So my thing is, if you have to wear a mask, then the next thing we should do is mandate that they do away with bathtubs and swimming pools, because you'll save...
And the ocean, you're not allowed to go in the ocean anymore.
You will save 6 times as many kids as you would giving them this ridiculous shot and or masking them up. The world, every single number I'm quoting is a CDC number. Anybody says that this is, what's the word? Conspiracy theory is garbage. Every single number comes right off the CDC website, and this is how we're treating our kids and how we're treating each other.
But the news didn't say that, so it can't be true.
Having had lunch with a news person, and I will just leave it generic, who was fully vaccinated at a major television station And I sent her all this information and showed her all the things that have been going on so she could see the other side. And the email I got back was, our newsroom will never buy into this narrative.
There you go.
That is how this works. It doesn't fit the narrative. Therefore, they're never going to cover it. It doesn't matter what's truth, fiction, lies. It doesn't matter. Our local news, NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox, MSNBC, CNN, on and on and on and on and on. They are never going to cover these stories because they don't fit the narrative. How can it not fit the narrative in a conservative state like Utah?
Richard, it's science.
It's
science.
Okay, well, the science then says when you go home, put on your mask and protect yourself from your parents. That's what the science says.
All right, so let me... Oh, no.
Go.
I just did a Chucky. Jen Paskey. She's the Chucky doll. I was almost said circle back. Ooh. To Fort Worth, Texas, in Arizona, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they displayed the names of people that were in a lawsuit or whatever. Well, Park City School District kind of did the same thing this past week. They sent out a Google Doc sheet because they were like, we are enforcing this mask mandate. We've hit the 2%, and you guys are going to be in really big trouble if you don't have your kids wear a mask. So they had a Google Doc sheet with like, and it had all the people who had mask exemptions. That had a list of the names of the kids and the parents of the mask exemptions. So they did the exact same thing. And I know of a few people that have filed a FERPA complaint at the school district. And that is a complaint, that's like a violation of privacy. And they did this. And stay tuned for what's going on in our school district, because it's a shit show.
I do not have kids in Summit County.
It is a mess.
If there are 100 parents out there that will chip in $1,000, I will chip in $1,000, which will give us $100,000. It is time to sue the brains out of these people. I would love to take somebody into court and say, show me the research that says the magic number is 2%. If when this reaches 2% and everybody puts a mask on, we're going to be protected. Our kids will be protected. Our teachers will be protected. It's bunk. There is no rhyme, reason, or rationale behind that number. It doesn't exist. And if that is in fact, if they want to use the science, and that is their science, I again throw back the CDC and I look at and their viral load numbers, and I say then when the kids get home, if their parents are vaccinated, put your mask on so that when they come back to school the next day, our teachers will be protected because you've somehow protected them from their parents, their viral load that they're carrying around in their household, which, by the way, let's not even get into the fact that masks don't work.
Yes,
but that's a whole other issue.
All right.
Back to you.
Okay, circle back to me. All right. So I just had to laugh a little bit. You know, Resident Biden, pudding brain boy, decided that he's going to make OSHA, enforce all these vaccine mandates on employers with over 99 employees, right? And all these woke companies are buying into this bullshit, and they're basically threatening everyone's livelihoods. And every month, oh, you have to get vaccinated by this day. Oh, you have to get vaccinated by this month. Oh, it was September, now it was October, now it's November, now it's December, now it's January. Well, guess what just happened? OSHA suspended the enforcement of the vaccine mandate after the Fifth Circuit Court issued an injunction, which means pretty much the Supreme Court is going to rule that it's unconstitutional. Did us tinfoil hat people say that this shit was unconstitutional?
And yet here today, Psaki, however she pronounces his name,
the Chucky doll.
She turned around. She turned around today and said, "We don't care about the Fifth Circuit.
Do it anyway.
We don't care what OSHA said. We're going to move ahead anyway. We're going to break the law. We will break the law to make you get this shot."
But the kicker is, are their asses liable? No. Who would be liable if employers break the law and an employee sues, or like there's a class action lawsuit? Is it the government or is it the employer that gets screwed?
It's the employer.
The employer gets screwed, okay? So they're the ones that are going to be liable. Psaki can turn her red head all around and do whatever the hell she wants, but she's not getting sued. It's the employer getting sued.
You have an employee that you mandate gets the shot in order to stay employed, and they have an adverse reaction, you can't go after the pharmaceutical company.
Nope.
You can't go after the government.
You go after your employer.
They're gonna come after you. And that's
The
what's going to
employer.
happen.
So wake up, people, wake up. All right. So Pudding Brain, aka Resident Biden, he loses another court case. Did you hear about this one?
I'm sure he did, but tell
On
me.
shutting down oil production. Remember
I
his
loved it.
executive order? Was it an executive action or an executive order? Because he wrote like 48 of them within his first month of office.
Unfortunately, he doesn't remember what he did. So
Oh, he's got something up in the dark place.
I
When
know.
Kamala was,
he might have clearer thoughts after today. I have no idea.
well, maybe he was cleaned out a little bit. Ooh.
I know.
Ooh, God, that's a revolting thought. Oh my Lord. Oh Lord, forgive me for even thinking that. So Kamala was president for 2 hours.
Yeah,
Right?
the
Yeah.
world's
You already
changed.
said it's changed for the better.
Yeah, I love that. They are now, the Gulf states can now start drilling for oil again.
Yep. So him shutting down oil production. No.
I know, I love it.
I love it too.
I do too.
Okay.
And next week, India and BYU.
Next week, I don't know what we're going to talk about next week, or
Oh, I
it's
do.
Thanksgiving. What are we going to do? Are we going to do a show? I will do one. It's Friday. What are you guys doing? You just let me know.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out either way.
Maybe we'll do a high tech.
Oh, a Zoom?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that'd be fun.
I don't even know how to do that.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll have a time limit though. That's for sure. All
Perfect.
right.
Thanks,
That
Nathalie.
wraps up the other side of the kitchen.
Perfect. How'd we do?
I think we did good. 41:55.
Oh, by the time we edit this,
We have to edit it and all that good stuff.
Perfect.
We'll be at 40 minutes.
you
which
guys
is
have a
perfect.
great week and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.